supposed to be medicine, not the marshmallows you buy in the store, but the marshmallows you can make at home with only 3 or 4 ingredients. If you don't count water, you need water. Then this ingredient is optional. Some marshmallow root powder. This is optional. Some vanilla or whatever flavoring you want. This is not optional. You need honey or maple syrup. This is also not optional. You need some unflavored gelatine. We're going to make marshmallows today because I want to roast some. I've been craving roasted marshmallows. And no, I'm not pregnant. It's an entirely different reason, something the Amish will not talk about, and that is getting your cycle. I didn't know what a cycle was until I had it a couple times, and then when Mom did tell me, I still didn't know what she was talking about, just because I assumed I was doing something wrong and something was happening to me, so I was too embarrassed to tell her. If you are using marshmallow root powder, steep it in hot water and keep steeping it until the water is cold or almost cold. If you're not, just use cold water instead. Once it's cooled off, we're going to take a cheesecloth and a strainer and strain it because that powder doesn't dissolve. So you want to strain it out of the water. Now I have my mixer bowl because I'm going to use a stand mixer. I don't want to do that much work with my hands right now. If you're Amish and you don't have a stand mixer, you will have to use your hands, but you need to dump half of this water into a pot because you need to make a syrup. Then take your unflavored gelatine and put it in your stand mixer bowl or whatever bowl you're using and add the rest of the water in there. I'm going to mix that water and gelatine together a little just so the gelatine can all bloom and there's no dry stuff left. Now I'm going to set this aside and we're going to take the rest of our water and add our honey. Now you can use maple syrup too. I'm going to whisk that marshmallow root water and honey together a little bit, then we're going to put it on the stove and you have to let it come to a boil and it has to reach 130 to 140 degrees before you take it off. Once your honey and water almost reaches the right temperature, and I just realized I told you guys the wrong temperature. I said 130 to 140 degrees. That isn't even boiling. It's 230 to 240 degrees, and I looked in the cookbook and it is also wrong in the cookbook. In the cookbook it says 130 to 140. It is 230 to 240. If you're making these, make sure you get that right. But a little bit before it's hot enough, we're going to put our bowl in our mixer and we're going to put it on low to beat for a little bit until it's done. Once your syrup is done, we're going to slowly pour it in here while it's mixing. And whenever we had our cycle at home, we had to wear shoes. We couldn't run. We couldn't do any hard work like mopping the floor or doing laundry or anything. Granted, doing our laundry meant looking around 5-gallon buckets full of water, but still, we couldn't do any hard work. We had to treat it like we were sick. And guys couldn't know about it until they got married, which was no fun because when you go to school, everybody else is barefoot and then you have to wear shoes and you can't tell anybody why. It sucked and I hated it. Just turn that to medium high and let it whip up. It'll turn fluffy. Once that's whipped up, you need a parchment paper lined cookie sheet. One batch is enough to fill one cookie sheet. So I'm going to put parchment paper in my cookie sheet while that's whipping up. Once it's almost done whipping up, I'm going to add my vanilla, and this is completely optional. These things are all whipped up now, so it's time to take them out. The longer you whip them, the stiffer they'll get and the more solid your marshmallows will be. This is how I like mine. Now you need to spread it out on your parchment paper lined sheet immediately. Make sure you spread it out nice and even. You can do however thick you want. I'm going to leave mine this thick and then you stick them in the refrigerator, and I like to leave them in at least a couple of hours just so they're thoroughly chilled. It is quite late in the day, but these things have completely cooled off, and if you don't want them to be this thin, just put them in an 8x8 pan so they can't spread out as far. But they are solid and we're going to cut them. I just have a pizza cutter here. This thing is from Rada. I have their website linked on my website. I've cut some of them out. Let's taste them. They are delicious. Trust me, once you get started on these, you will never go back to store-bought. These things are way too good. If you want to, you can cut them up, and then so they don't stick together, you can sprinkle them with some arrowroot or cornstarch powder, or even a little bit of powdered sugar if you want, although that would not be quite as healthy. But let's go roast some of these and see if they work for that. Our fire is pretty lively, but I have a marshmallow here that I'm gonna roast with it. I just have to use the edge of the fire so it doesn't just burn the marshmallow. Okay, this is what our marshmallow looks like. I am going to eat it before it falls off the stick, or try to anyways. Crap, that's hot. If you guys want to make these marshmallows yourself, the recipe is in my cookbook. I've had a lot of people tell me it's not. It is in there. It's under marshmallows. I think it's on page 159. The cookbook is on my website, socialsbylavina.com, which I have linked over here on my profile, or depending what platform you're on, it might be in the caption of this video. Or you can just go to your browser app and type into the search bar socialsbylavina.com and my website will pop up. Enjoy!